What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm on Toxin Gaming today, people. Today we're going to be going over another deck discussion. Today's deck discussion is going to be Amnael's deck discussion with Macro Cosmo just getting announced yesterday. I figured this would be the best one to go over next. Going over this, Omnio is playing the macro cards in this deck, and yeah, macro is a really interesting trap card. It has a floodgate ability that is really interesting, and also an ability that allows you to special summon Helios to Primordial Sun from your hand or deck, which is kind of like Omnio's main card. If you guys don't know, Helios to Primordial Sun is just a level 4 light monster that gains attack equal to the amount of banished monsters that there are. So if you and your opponent both have 1, he gains 200 attack. It's really interesting. And then he kind of just levels up as it goes. So you have Duo Majestus, which, you know, it gains 200 attack for each banished monster card, summons by tributing a Helios, and then if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, he gets to summon himself back during the end phase and gains 300 attack and defense, which kind of like doesn't really work with macro, but hey, it's just an interesting card to talk about because it is one of his. Helios Trice Magician does the same thing except it tributes Duo, summons back during the end phase and gains 500 attack, and has a Tyrant Dragon-like effect that if your opponent has a monster when it destroys a monster by battle, it can attack again, which is really cool in that regard. Another card to go over would be like Grand Convergence. Grand Convergence works with Macro Cosmos, and it's kind of like a wildfire, but instead of, you know, blowing up the field by paying 500 life points, tributing the Blaze Accelerator, instead you're just inflicting 300 damage to your opponent because you control Macro Cosmos, and then you get to Darkhold the field. Golden Homunculus is another card worth talking about. It is confirmed in the box, and I think it's going to be one of the most interesting cards that we see coming out of this, and it just works really well with macros. That's why he's kind of in this area here. Moving on, though, I want to talk about the attribute spirits. He uses every single attribute spirit. If you don't know what I mean by attribute spirit, I mean like in the name it says spirit, and they can't be normal summoned or set, and can only be special summoned by banishing one of the attribute cards. So cards like this are like the Rock Spirit or Spirit of the Flames, which are already in Speed Duels. Cards that we don't have that are of the attribute spirits are like Aqua Spirit and Garuda the Wind Spirit. I think both of them could definitely like be in the box, but I don't think they would be like part of his main deck. Cards that are the spirits that could be in the main deck, though, are like Diana the Light Spirit, which banishes light monsters and then gains 1,000 life points during your end phase, or the Luna the Dark Spirit, which banishes dark monsters and inflicts 500 damage to your opponent during the standby phase. I think both of them are very strong and could fit perfectly into this deck. Moving on, though, is going to be the DD archetype, with both DD Warrior Lady already being in the game, and same with DD Crow, and also DD Crow getting a confirmed reprint in this box. I think that the person that these cards would fit the most coming to this box would be Amnael. So going over the DD cards that are not in the game yet, I think that Survivor is one of the perfect cards to talk about. He's so strong, and when he summons himself during the end phase, whenever he is banished from being face up on the field, it's just really good to see that. It would just be really good to see this card in the deck. The other card would be like Scout Plane, which is just another version of Survivor, except it's during either end phase, and he special summons himself in face-up attack position. He was known for being in the Macro Monarch deck a lot, or the Strike Ninja deck from Go format. He's just a really interesting card, and it would be really nice to see this guy in the format. Other cards to talk about is like DD Warrior Lady, DD Warrior, which is just boneless DD Warrior Lady, and this card is just mandatory whenever it battles a monster. After damage calc, both of the monsters are banished, and then DD Assailant, which banishes the monster that destroys it by battle. Both of those cards I think are like just worth Warrior Lady, and the fact that we got Warrior Lady first is really interesting to me. But I definitely could see that Omnio would have them both in his deck. DDM, Different Dimension Master, is like kind of the boss monster for the DD archetype, and it just special summons your remove from play monsters by discarding a spell card. Just a level 5 drop for that too. DD Designator is kind of like Mind Crush. You declare a card name, look at your opponent's hand. If they have that card, they discard it. And if they don't, you just banish a random card from your hand. And by discard, I mean you get to remove that card from your opponent's hand. And it's a spell card, so that's really nice too. And then DDR, Different Dimension Reincarnation, would be a cool card to see. It is essentially Premature Burial, but it works with banished monsters instead of graveyard monsters. DD Trap Hole is just another trap hole card that I think we could get. It works with set monsters, and it banishes that and a monster you control. It works really well with Scout Plane, and works really well with Survivor, so I think we could get this card. And then also, if I could make a deck for the format, I think this is what it would look like. Like if I was in charge of it, like, you know, Konami Speed Duels, this is probably what I would release. And it's pretty much every card we talk about except for like 3 cards. The 3 cards I think that we didn't talk about that could definitely come is going to be like Chaos Sorcerer. I think this card is incredibly powerful and generically good, and we could definitely see it come to the format. It's nothing like its power creep cards like Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning or stuff like that. I think it's just fair to see and would be really unique and nice to have in the format, and could push us into a different type of format in general. Other cards are like Dark Core. Dark Core is just a spot removal spell card that discards a card from your hand and banishes a face-up monster on the field. And then lastly is going to be Karma Cut, which is just a trap version of Dark Core, except it does a little bit extra. You just discard a card, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and banish that target. Then you can banish all cards with the same name as that monster from your opponent's graveyard. This was very, very strong in Duel Links, and if we got it in Speed Duels, I wouldn't be surprised, but also they don't really like generic cards like this, so it is possible we might not see it at all. As you can see, the spirit monsters are also in the side there. I don't think that we're going to get them into the main deck, but I do see that they could come as the extra 20. If I could make a skill for this deck though, I would say that the Alchemist would be the skill, and I would think it would be based around Golden Homunculus, and it would be like if you have 3 or more banished cards, you can normal summon Golden Homunculus without tributing, and then while Golden Homunculus is faceable in the field, all monsters destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard are just banished instead. I think both of those would work really well with Amnael as a character and as a card, and it would make Golden Homunculus actually playable in the Speed Duel format, so I think this is probably something along the lines that we will see. But if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure you leave a like on this video, make sure you subscribe, and above all else, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.